My first date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Okay, so what a week it's been. You know what? I was never a Twitter person. I could never like get used to being on Twitter when people would be like, "Oh, Twitter like totally sucked my day away." I'd be like, "I don't know," like, but Threads, Threads have got me, man. They got me. I can spend so much time on Threads, and there were like a handful of things that were running through my trending stuff going on Threads this week.
Okay,
but the main one that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I have strong feelings, I'm sure you will have feelings as well.
Okay.
Aubrey Plaza,
we
know and love, is pregnant with her boyfriend, Christopher Abbott, who is he's a working actor. He always reminds me of the guy who plays Jon Snow. Like they look similar to me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I guess they've been dating for a while. She is in her early 40s. They're pregnant. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's great. You know, she's had a really rough time.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's lovely that, you know, if this is something that they've wanted and she's happy, that's wonderful. The comments, and I was about to say the misogynistic comments, but a lot of them are from women as well, but that could be internalized.
Yeah. Still misogyny.
You know?
Yeah.
About her moving on, being in a new relationship, having a baby.
How dare
her husband died.
How dare
after her husband.
And go fuck yourself. Honestly,
truly. This is awfully fast. She moved on awfully quickly, and it's like, no. First of all, they were separated when he died. First of all, they'd been separated for months. Secondly, it's been over a year. How long? What is the right
timeline?
amount?
Exactly.
Yeah. What's the right amount of time that she needs to be in her widow blacks for before she can like move forward? I just was so frustrated by the discourse around it. And I'm just like, this woman has gone through so much shit. And now she has happy news and everybody's shitting all over it.
Yeah. Listen,
you can't win.
No.
This is gonna be hypocritical because we have a podcast where I literally share opinions, but I think social media has made people think that their opinions matter, and they really fucking don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not anything new. Everyone's always judged everyone's choices. You know, before we had social media, neighborhood gossips would go around and like
100%
or whatever. But I'm just like, it's never your place to comment on anyone's timeline for grief or their, relationship. It doesn't concern you at all. Like, let it fly, like Aubrey Plaza.
Right. What do you
deciding to, yeah, exactly. Who cares? Great for her that she's pregnant and happy. Like, that's awesome.
Why does it bother people so much?
Mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why it bothers people so much. I don't know why they think they get a say, or they think that they wouldn't react the same way in this situation. They also, I don't know, people are fucking weird about women in their 40s having kids, like, being pregnant. But it's like, if she wants children, she's in her 40s. Like, you judge her if she waited another 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, had a child in her late 40s or whatever it is. It's just like, you can't wait. You're going to be judged no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't matter, especially as a woman. I feel like you're going to be judged no matter what you do. And I feel like surrounding grief, people have the strongest, wildest opinions about how you should react to or handle things. And we have no clue,
of course,
what she went through whenever all of that stuff went down. It seemed to me whenever she did make public appearances, she looked sad.
Yeah.
She looked like she'd gone through, like a really difficult thing. I have no doubt. Divorce is hard. Separation is hard, which is something she was going through with this person already that she obviously had love for and cared for. And then to lose them in that way, because I think he took his own life, like, devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating. Yeah. How you get through that is your own business.
I remember when Patton
people should just
Oswalt
leave it alone.
remarried. Pat and Oswald remarried, and people were like, oh, gosh, it's so soon. It was like almost 2 years or something. It's just like you said. What is the timeline? When do you get to not grieve publicly anymore? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't, like, exactly what you said too. It doesn't mean you're not grieving privately.
Yeah.
And that you won't carry that grief with you for the rest of your life. Like, just because you have happy moments and good things are happening in your life doesn't mean you're not still sad about the thing that happened.
Honestly,
I'm sure Patton Oswalt is still sad about his wife passing, just because he's happy now.
The guilt that you even carry having lost someone in that way, first of all, I can't fathom. I'm sure it's absolutely devastating. And both of them lost their partners in a similar way, in a similar fashion.
Mm-hmm. I think Michelle's was an accidental, but it's still just like, but again, that carries its own guilt, right?
Of course.
Because there's so much
if I wasn't there?
know.
What if this is this?
Right.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have no idea what these people are going through, and then to like besmirch them any peace, like, what is wrong with you?
No, it's like, I don't know. That is one thing. Between that and a couple of other things that were coming up on my threads can be a very fun place to be. Look, I love the Bravo side of threads all day, every day. I will be scrolling through Real Housewives of Beverly Hills content. But there is something about that particular platform or Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever where it really is just opinions.
Yeah.
Like, that is all that it is. It's just the comment section. That is all it is. You know what I mean? And it really did hit me this week where I was in a bad mood coming off of threads because I was just like, people suck.
Yeah.
And I try so hard to be so positive about humanity.
Right.
Despite everything that's going on, I really am just like, no, most people are good. There's so much good in the world. There's so much beauty in the world. Fucking a couple hours on threads and I was like, I don't know what
there
to do.
is any beauty in the
world. Yeah.
This is really rough.
Social media is definitely going to have you having a negative view of humanity for sure. Yeah.
My God. Truly, like,
a rough week for that. And like, God bless Aaron Parnas for what he's trying to do. But when he comes across my FYP, I'm like, ugh, bro, I need a break.
Yeah. Does your breath catch? Yeah, I know.
Can I pause for a second and to like not
I'm
Ben Affleck outside smoking every time.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers to the people doing that kind of work, like the Aaron Parnases, the people who are actively staying engaged to that degree so that they can report on it. Wow. Like, just praying for your mental health.
Yeah, seriously.
It's nonstop. It just never stops,
People fucking try to diminish Biden by being like, oh, sleepy Joe Biden. You know who else got to sleep those 4 years? Me. Peacefully. Because it wasn't fucking and every 5 minutes.
On the brink of nuclear war.
Exactly. I will take sleepy Joe Biden any fucking minute of any day over what we're doing right now.
Oh my God. I mean, truly, like, it is, we are living in the upside down. And I realize that it's a sign of people. It's almost like positive in that I do feel like it's a sign that this regime will someday end. That people like Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly are all like,
and Marjorie even, like, Taylor
Joe
Greene
Rogan and fucking Theo Vaughn are like tripping over themselves to be like, oh my God, we didn't know that this was what's going on? Like, because they are trying to distance themselves because the rebrand is happening.
The rebrand is happening. Yeah, they're already rebranding MAGA. So I'm planting my flag right now. They're rebranding it to the America First Party, and it's a blue hat. It's a blue hat that says America First. So that is the next MAGA. Serious? Yes, I am. Yep.
They don't get to have blue. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They don't.
But yep, it's coming. The rebrand, just like Tea Party became MAGA. MAGA is becoming America First.
I'm gonna
that is
break
the next
my laptop. I am
step.
so tired.
Yep.
I'm exhausted,
tired.
you guys.
It's so exhausting, truly. Like I'm barely hanging on. It's just like my garden and my squirrels.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe I forgot to tell you guys. Have you guys watched the Lamar Odom Untold on Netflix?
But I was very curious about that because I saw that because it's called The Death and Life of Lamar Odom, and I was like, did this motherfucker die?
He
and
did.
I didn't know about it.
He did, but came back to life. Girl, this story, and I'll tell you who comes off as the getting a big W in this documentary is Chloe.
I knew it. Yeah, I saw a clip of it, and she does look good in it. I do think she tried her best to help this man.
She did, and the disrespect this man still shows her made me want. I'm like, they didn't kill you enough because
it has to be studied, and this is not victim shaming in any way, but there has to be something about people who continuously pick partners who don't even seem to like them and disrespect them to that degree. Because those Lamar Odom but to like a degree that I wouldn't even. I love a good project, and even I wouldn't.
Yeah, she was in her early 20s.
But Tristan, what's his name too? Like after that.
Yeah. It's very deep insecurity, I think. Just
makes me so fucking sad because she doesn't deserve like however you feel about the Kardashians, people don't deserve to be treated like that.
No,
like they really don't.
She gave up like 10 months of her life nursing this fucking man back to health after he did a whole bunch of drugs and OD'd on boner pills at a brothel outside somewhere in Nevada.
In Pahrump.
The Bunny Ranch, right?
Yeah, fucking like 12 strokes and 6 heart attacks, was in a coma. She was wiped his fucking ass. Basically, his dad came to pull him off of life support. She said no, like, I'm still technically his wife. What do you want? Gave his dad $100 and a pair of Nikes to get the fuck out of the hospital room.
Oh my god.
Bought him property to nurse him back to health. Like, after he got out of the hospital, taught him how to walk and talk again. She goes over to his house one day to like drop off groceries, and he's fucking smoking crack in the house.
Yeah. How do you recover from this? Like God,
she deserves
she deserves props. I mean, the clip
she deserves peace.
That's true. Yeah. The clip that I had seen was like prior to him going to the Bunny Ranch, what had happened was they were having a intervention for him. I think this is right. Christina, correct me. They were having an intervention for him, and the interventionalist and like all of the people, like her family, told her that her hard line needed to be to tell him that she would divorce him if he didn't get sober. And she's like, well, I don't want to get divorced. And they were like, well, it won't happen. Like, it's just, you have to give him the most extreme thing that you can think of. And so she tells him like, okay, I'm if you won't get sober, I'm going to divorce you. And he goes, okay. Drop the papers. Draw them up.
Wow.
And then he's like, and then I was free because my wife wanted to divorce me. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go get it in and go to the Bunny Ranch. And that's how this whole thing fucking kicked off. And she was like, wait, I didn't actually want to get divorced. Jesus. Like,
and
that's gotta hurt so much.
The way it wasn't even the Bunny Ranch, you guys, it was a modular trailer in the middle of fucking nowhere, Nevada. The Bunny Ranch, I guess I learned from this documentary, is a chain of these the Bunny Ranch is the nice one, which it isn't even really that nice, but
this was like an offshoot.
It's an offshoot. Yes, I think this one
Diet
was called
Bunny Ranch?
the Love Ranch or something, and it was just modular houses, like in the middle. Oh, it was so. It was the most angry I've been at a documentary for a while, because as much as he's like telling his story, there's no self-reflection, there's no apology, there's no accountability, nothing. And like what he did to his kids is even fucking worse than what he did to Chloe, because he straight up like, and that, I mean, that is, I think, loving and dating, or an addict. Like you're never gonna be first choice. Like you're always gonna come second to the addiction.
Yeah, I mean, this is why people have hard lines about. It seems cruel sometimes when people have hard lines about cutting off family members, but it's just like at some point you do have to choose yourself. Yeah, like you do have to choose peace. You do have to realize that if you know, they're not going to change, and you sticking around and being by their side is just enabling them to continue to do fuck shit, you know? Like,
yeah, that's right. They are the ones that have to choose themselves. They are the ones that have to do the work for, like, you can't help somebody that's not ready to help themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just very odd. And to the point in this documentary, I was like, wait, is he still smoking crack or doing cocaine? Because it really seemed like he was still
probably
in it.
If he has no self-reflection or no remorse for, because that is something that I have seen, not that I'm any kind of addiction expert or anything, but I have seen a lot of episodes of Intervention. And isn't that part of the recovery process, is that you have to own the shit you did while you were
It's part
using?
of a 12-step process, right? So if you're doing a traditional 12-step process, one of the steps is to like ask for forgiveness, but kind of come to like you. I can't remember the term.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the word either. But yes, people are screaming it at their
I know. Right. So
into the air right now as they're listening.
You like meet
accountability. You got to be accountable.
Yeah. And so you talk with people who have been victims of your addiction and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I mean, I feel like even if you're not doing a 12-step program, if you're sober, well, I guess I can't put everybody in the same bucket, but I feel like if I was sober and reflected on all the hurt I caused, I mean,
that's why people get back into addiction again, because once they don't
want to face it.
Yeah, because the thing of it is once you have a sober brain, your brain has to now think about and process all the shit that it did when it was not sober.
Yeah,
and it had that wall up, and it had that like safety net of the addiction to be like, whatever, who gives a fuck, you know, allowing you to do all this stuff. So then you have to come to terms with all the things that you did, acknowledge them, which is also very fucking like that's a big slap in the face when you can see now with a clear brain all the things you did. It's hard for people to come to terms with, and that's why people many times go back into the addictions, because then you're forced to be around those people. You don't know. I mean, not only do you have to be around the people that you've hurt, you have to then know that the way that you are with them and the way that they are with you is based off of this addiction that maybe you're not in anymore. So it's tender-footed. It's walking on eggshells. It's, you know, so then what do you have left? You can't trust yourself, and you can't trust the relationships you've built, because you don't know if people are being real with you. You know,
that's got to be
it's a vicious cycle.
So hard. I really do have a lot of empathy for people that get, so I mean, listen, I did a shit ton of cocaine when I was down in Miami. And then at one point I was like, hey, I'm like three choices away from a very different life. You know, I got to walk away from this. I'm lucky that I could. There are some people that really can't. And
or don't even recognize that they're that far, you know, into it until it's too late, until they're, you know.
But that's what's made me always like so scared to like do anything. Like I would never even try meth casually. You know what I mean? I'm like
casually,
casual, a little
casual meth.
Let's just do casual heroin. No. Heroin Fridays.
No, I mean all of it is like, I've never even done cocaine because like for me, my anxiety is such. I don't even think that I would get addicted to anything, but I just don't even want to open the door.
Yeah.
Right.
Like for anything. I just, it makes me anxious. And then it's like, I wouldn't even enjoy the experience because the whole time I would be so fucking anxious.
Yeah.
Like, so, I,
on the other hand, have used those types of medication to abate my own ADHD for my whole life. So like not like obviously as a
right. Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I don't feel like I don't have the same experience with cocaine and that as some people do, because I'm definitely the person who was like, yeah, let's go all night. We'll have to do cocaine. And then I'm like, all right, time for bed.
No,
which is
for me, I'm like
wild.
6 o'clock in the morning, like texting, being like, "Hey,
you remember that time?
Can we get more?
Yeah, can we get more?"
Yeah,
it's bad. It's
and then
bad.
you put fame on top of that,
and the
people not telling
access, the access is so much bigger. Yeah.
Oof. But yeah, definitely a good documentary. I definitely recommend watching it. I was like,
nice.
You know me, I've talked about it before. I'll watch like any sports documentary. I'm not into sports, but a good sports documentary.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll feel well, not this one, but other sports documentaries. I will feel inspired by the end of it. I'm like, oh,
you'll feel inspired.
Fantastic.
Inspired to stay off drugs.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. That's what they should show in the DARE program.
Yeah. Truly. Just that documentary. Yeah.
If I was a teacher, it would just be episodes of intervention, just over and over. We're watching this shit on repeat. That's your drug program education.
For real, though. Probably work pretty well. Actually.
That's gonna work way better than Go Ask Alice.
Wow.
Deep cut.
That is a deep cut.
Oh man. Okay, we ready to consult the cards for
Let's
a fuck
do
right
it.
now?
Let's do it.
I'll pick first this time.
Okay.
Let's see. We have Willie Nelson.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Great.
Love Willie Nelson so much.
Okay.
Christina,
let me know when.
When?
Will Arnett, 2 Wills.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Open for another Will here. Will Shakespeare.
Fingers crossed. That is an option. I've seen it in the cards.
Oh, no.
That would be fun. Okay.
Right.
Let me know.
Now.
Oh, I don't know if we want to do either of these. Let me know. There's Rodney Dangerfield is what came up.
No.
Or Mike Tyson.
No.
Oh, gosh.
We can't do Mike Tyson.
No, we're not.
Why don't we just do the Wills? Let's just do Will Shakespeare.
All right.
Okay. I mean,
no, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We're gonna do Wills. Okay.
Okay.
What a weird collection of Wills we have here. Willie Nelson, Will Arnett, or William Shakespeare.
Dude, if William Shakespeare looked like Paul Mescal in that movie.
I mean, true. Somehow I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah. I have a feeling.
Okay. Let me really think about this.
Yeah. Does anybody know what William Shakespeare's birth chart?
Oh, actually, that's very interesting. Let's look that up. I do not have top of my...
Do we even actually know when he was born? Like, I don't know.
They do.
I'll look up the signs of the others.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, he wasn't born before like records are written.
No, but it's just because there was so much conflicting information about his life.
Oh.
Okay, I've got Willie Nelson's sign.
Okay. Pisces, Cancer, or something like that.
No. Not a water sign.
Really? Okay, air sign.
Oh, okay. Here's a hint. Willie Nelson and Will Arnett are the same sign.
Oh, wow.
Same sun sign. Okay, and then what about Will Shakespeare?
Sun in Taurus, Moon in Cancer, and
they're all
rising
3 Tauruses.
Cancer.
No.
They're all 3 Tauruses.
All 3 Wills, all 3 Taurus. Wow.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, we
How
are heading
crazy.
into Taurus season too, so
We sure
I mean,
are.
We're still
so
in
how
Aries.
appropriate.
Still, but
Yeah, you're like, stop! Don't cut don't cut my month short.
yeah.
We're actually in a like mega Aries season too.
Girl,
like with everything lining up this week. Feels almost like a
I feel
laser
like I should
beam.
hibernate. Like I feel like I should not leave my house.
Just sleep for a while.
I've been real.
Maybe this is a bad
emotional
time for me to go
lately.
walk around the woods.
My chart for this week said avoid confrontation at all costs. So
I put a red notice at the top of my thing on the 14th and 15th, which you said was the days. And I was like, no communication. Like I have like a little reminder. I've been so emotional the last few weeks. I'm like, I'm not well.
Girl, I will tell you. So I'm
start
on
my meds
week
soon.
Week 2 for estrogen patch and progesterone.
Yeah.
Dude, it's working.
Game changer,
It
huh?
is working. Yeah, this week in particular, I definitely should be PMSing like pretty hard. I feel level-headed. I feel more like myself. It's really helped with the brain fog too.
Good.
Like I'm not searching for words as much as I had to before and feel sharper, more focused and more level-headaded. So
That's so
what I
definitely
need.
digging it is working. So yeah.
Okay. I have their sun moon rising.
Okay.
So I was writing it down so I don't forget.
Okay.
So Will Arnett is this is going to change the game in terms of they're all Tauruses, but Will Arnett is a sun in Taurus, moon in Aries, Sagittarius rising.
Oh, yeah. I fucking knew it. I knew it in my heart.
There had to be some fire in there.
That makes sense.
Willie Nelson is
Water.
a sun in Taurus, moon in Cancer, Capricorn rising.
Okay.
Oh,
that makes
interesting.
so much fucking sense, actually.
Yes, it does. It makes so
really
much
does.
sense. Yeah. And what do we know anything
Yes.
else about Will Shakespeare's Shakey's chart?
Moon in Cancer, rising Cancer.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah, I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm going to do. And I know that you guys are going to
bet
disagree.
we're doing the same thing.
I doubt we are.
okay.
I doubt we are.
Okay. Are you going to marry Will Arnett?
I am. Absolutely. Are you fucking kidding?
Okay.
I can't I'm already depressed as it is right now, you guys. I can't. I fucking literally
Can't do a Cancer
not.
moon?
Can't. Cannot.
You'd be crying together.
Oh, no. No. Arnett, hands down, I need comedy. I need us to laugh at the bad, shitty shit. I need an Arnett. I'm marrying an Arnett.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
Fair enough. And I do feel like the sun in Taurus will keep him a little bit more
Exactly.
like steady Eddie.
But I need
It's that
some-
Sag rising. I'm side-eyeing.
listen, I need some of the spice. I need a little bit of fucking
a little spice. I get it. I
little
do get
bit.
it.
Like listen, and
Will Shakespeare's too much. I'm with you on that.
out,
A Cancer
full out.
moon and rising.
full
Girl,
on that.
he has his Mars in Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Cancer.
Oh,
No.
he's a Cancer stellium. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's not for me. I can't do it.
You will be crying with
I'm-
him. That's why he could write such great sonnets. But yeah, you will be crying.
He can write it for somebody else because it ain't gonna be me. So, and then I am going to fuck Nelson because that's the right decision for
It'll
me.
be a fun time.
Yeah.
And here's
just
the
get-
thing: I love a Willie Nelson, but I will tell you, I'm not a big pothead person.
Oh,
like
girl,
I don't
this
love.
I'm not
this is
either.
my husband.
I know, like-
this is my husband. This
He's
is
my husband
life.
too, but he's
Yeah.
going to be smoking on his own.
Yeah, and I
'cause
appreciate
I'm
that.
not a big. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, just
me and him. He's gonna teach. I'm running, sprinting into my pothead era. Like, and
I do
I'm
love this
actually
for you.
really loving it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really drinking that much anymore, just due to stuff that taking hormones. I could take my magnesium at night. Taking a couple hits of a fucking joint at the end of a long day is starting to become my new, this is great. I'm going to watch the new Jury Duty show that's on. I'll talk about it more at the end, dude. I love that show.
Is it good?
But it's so good. It's Company Retreat.
This time. Yeah. I can't wait.
It's so funny. It's poor kid. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, no, that's my husband. And then I'm going to fuck Will Arnett. It's going to be better than fucking Will Shakespeare.
Shakespeare might cry.
That's what I was going to say. That's my fear. And again, I don't think he's as hot as either Joseph Fiennes or Paul Mescal.
No.
I just am not. The depictions we're getting of sexy Shakespeare, I don't know that that's the case. Mm-mm. So I am also going to marry Willie Nelson. I feel like he's
this is right for you
energy.
Guys. Calm.
Yeah, he's got an energy that I think I would enjoy. And also he does have that Cancer moon, but he's got a Capricorn rising Taurus sun. I feel like he is going to be real grounded actually. Yeah.
I'd love this for you guys.
Yes. Yeah. But that Cancer moon, Cancer's at home in the moon. So I feel like he is going to be able to sit down, tell me about, talk to me about your problems today, honey. I like that. And then, I'm going to fuck Will Arnett. Mm-hmm. I do think he is I think he's so funny. I really do think he's very funny. I do think he's spicy. Mm-hmm. I think we'd have fun. Yeah, I think we'd have fun. And as much as I respect the work of Will Shakespeare, I've got 3 full Shakespeare collections in my library. Okay. I don't want to fuck him. I simply don't.
And if you did, he'd be texting you those poems and stuff afterwards. He'd be super clingy. Real clingy.
I do feel like he gets that way. He falls in love fast. He's got your wedding planned out, as soon as the date is over. That's probably why he cheated on his wife so much. You know what I mean? He's just fell in love every time he turned the corner.
It's probably bro, it's casual. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my God. And also the sex wasn't that good. Fucking please chill. Yeah.
It's the 1500s.
You are Paul Mescal.
So yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Yes. And we're back. I have the Tainted Love this week. I also want to give a big thank you to everyone for being so understanding. Last week, I got a lot of really nice messages. Thumb is doing a lot better. I'll show the ladies. It is fully able to bend it now. I've finished my antibiotic, so I can be on my breakfast wine again. Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you. I've got a good Tainted Love for you guys later. So I will kick us off. We had been on a couple dates and he invited me to his house to watch a movie. I showed up and he immediately brings me an ice pick, vodka, lemon, sugar, and ice. I thought an ice pick was iced tea and vodka. What do I know?
I not heard of it, but it sounds delightful.
It does sound delicious. Lemon, sugar, ice, and vodka. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't like vodka and I wasn't in the mood to drink, but I thanked him for the drink and sipped on it a little. He commented that I wasn't drinking fast enough.
Oh, I don't like that.
No. Nope. I said, oh, well, I'm not really in the drinking mood. He kept pressuring me to drink. I inspected my glass to make sure there was no residue or anything else in it. Look, you're fucking up when you're making your date have to feel like maybe she's being drugged or something.
Yeah. And also, that kind of drink too, there's sugar in it. It wouldn't be unusual to see little
granules
things
of something.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's shady.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
There wasn't, but when I finished, he made me another without asking. I thanked him, but said that I really didn't want another. He told me not to be rude and that I should have drinks with him if he's making them for me.
You know
I wasn't being rude before, but I'm gonna be rude now.
I'm about to be rude.
And you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm leaving, you weirdo.
Mm-hmm. When I finished that one, I said, I really don't want another. He brings me another. It's obvious that he's trying to get me drunk. He keeps trying to make out with me, and I said that I really wanted to watch the movie. He keeps literally pulling my face towards him, shoving his tongue down my throat.
No.
I turned this is part of why I wanted to tell this story, is because the way that she writes it, you know, obviously this is distasteful, unwanted behavior, but I really want to highlight, if someone is doing all of this shit to you, that is assault.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, you are being assaulted. Like, this is like, it's unwanted physical touch. You have said no multiple times.
And this is the kind of bad date that I feel like is so fucking common. I feel like we've all been on this date.
Yes. Yeah. And probably reacted, honestly, depending on what time in my life, I might have reacted in a similar way of just being like, okay, like, it's not their first date, you know, and I would have been like, all right, I guess I'll just drink these drinks. But, you know, it's not okay for somebody to be pushing your boundaries physically or with alcohol. Like, it's not. So I turned the other way on the couch, so I had my feet down by him and he couldn't get to my face. He then gets on the floor, walks on his knees to my face, and starts trying to kiss me again.
Ew, I hate this.
Gross. So gross. I said I needed to go to the bathroom. I quietly called my best friend and told her I need her to call me back with something urgent in a couple of minutes so I could get out of the bad date. She did, and I took off. After that, he kept trying to call and text me a lot, and I just told him, look, you were obviously trying to get me drunk and kept forcing kisses after I said I wanted to watch the movie. This is not going to work out.
Right.
So I, you know, so glad she got out of that situation in whatever means she needed, because I know that sometimes it can feel unsafe. Like, for me, I'm just like, it would have been completely justified for you to stand up and be like, look, I'm not feeling this. Like, I've said no multiple times. I'm going to leave. But you could feel unsafe in any given situation. And
That's
it felt
right.
like this was a safer way to get out, then congratulations on doing what you needed to do to remove yourself from that situation, because you were actively being assaulted. She doesn't say it in the email, but I'm like, you were actively being assaulted.
Well, and not only that, there's so many times, like, you really don't know how somebody is going to react to being told no. Like, even if you don't think it would be, like, you really don't know how many fucking Dateline 48 Hours 2020s
oh yeah, it turns on a dime.
Exactly. So you know, kudos to her and her best friend, like, coming through for her in that moment so she could get out as safely as she could, because that's terrifying.
Yeah. And again, like, also to, I don't know how many young men watch the show. I don't know how many young men listen to this show, but that is the kind of thing, as a millennial, that women would have heard this story and men would have heard the story as just like kind of a bad date. You know what I mean? Where like, I need young men to realize that this is, you are actively being predatory in this moment if you are doing things like that. It's not just a bad, quote unquote, bad date.
Yeah, it's
situation.
the whole Aziz Ansari thing.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Pushing a no is assault.
Yeah.
So, yes, education time, definitely. I love it. And I hate it. So this is a listener story, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Its subject is the date I didn't know I was on. So she says, my worst date occurred about 14 years ago. It was in my sophomore year of high school, and I was recovering from a broken vertebrae in my back. I missed most of snowboarding season due to recovery and was so excited when I was cleared to resume normal activity.
Oh my God. Did she, was the vertebrae broken due to snowboarding? I have questions. That sounds so painful.
Yeah.
I went snowboarding one time. It was also one of my worst dates of all time. I tried to surprise my ex-husband, who did like snowboarding, for a Valentine's Day by buying lift passes to some ski place in Ohio. So it was like a hill, but Ohio was rather flat. I had never been to this place before. And
so this is like cross-country skiing then, like not even downhill.
This was like the biggest mountain I'd ever seen in my life at that point. Like, I was terrified. I had never been snowboarding nor skiing before in my life. And I flung myself down this hill. I fell down it. Like, legit, on my head, my back, my arms. I was like cartwheeled down. Little kids fucking snowboarding around me. Like, I was, and I've never been more sore in my entire life. And guess what? He still didn't love me. So, anyways.
my God.
Did all of that. Very embarrassing. Anyways, she is amazing at snowboarding. And so she had expressed her excitement to one of her classmates that had known her all through middle school. She says, we had a decent amount of classes together over the years and were part of a team project together. We got along well, but I never considered him a close friend or anything more than an acquaintance. He also did snowboarding and suggested going together since he hadn't been recently and had no one to go with. I agreed to go. Normally, I had a season pass, but as I was injured at the start of the season, I had them refund the entire thing. So they decided to get day passes to a different resort that is a little bit cheaper, that none of their friends, all their friends have passes to this fancier resort. So they're kind of stuck doing it by themselves, but she didn't think anything of it. She's like,
well, because it was supposed to be a group thing. It's just, it happened to not be. Right?
Well, yeah. It was still a casual thing. They're like, they both like, I like snowboarding, you like snowboarding. Let's go snowboard.
Let's go snowboarding. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So we both finally make it through the ticket line and we're ready to hit the slopes. I felt good to be back on the trails and I was really enjoying myself. Even though my riding was much more advanced than his, I honestly didn't mind the slower pace as my muscles were not as conditioned as they were before the injury. He seemed appreciative of my tips and pointers and patience, and at the end of the night was nearing, he started holding my hand on the lift. I don't know if you've ever tried to hold hands in ski gloves, but it's not easy. The material on the gloves is thick, and then you factor in the puffiness of your coat, and it's just awkward and uncomfortable. I really wasn't into it.
I feel for this guy. I do. Like, I actually feel for... I don't know when, like what time period this story takes place in, but men who have grown up with that expectation that they have to be the ones to ask a girl out and not knowing, being in like, if you're in high school, like not knowing how to do that. I can see so many accidental dates happening.
Yeah,
because in your mind, you're like, I asked her to hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She said yes.
It's going to be her and I. And she said yes. And so you're like, this is definitely a date. And
she's like... What?
We're literally we're just hanging out.
That is actually like a good, like empathetic thing to keep in mind, is that like,
they don't know how to do it. They have grown up with this expectation that they're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But they don't, I wouldn't have known how to, I'm glad that with all the shit that women and girls have to deal with growing up, I am glad that was one thing I didn't have to stress about.
I am glad one of the nice things I can say to myself is that anytime that I've been approached and I wasn't interested, I've never been mean.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. And I feel proud because, it's a scary thing,
hard thing to do.
I feel like,
you know what I
my
mean?
memory isn't great, but I feel like I probably have been mean. I can't recall it, but
okay.
I just know me, and I feel like
look, we were all figuring it out. We were all growing up.
But I feel like I was probably mean.
Oh my God. Okay, so she says, I was shocked that it had happened and didn't know how to politely get out of it without hurting his feelings. So I would pretend to have an itch or just need to adjust my binding or retie my loose boot.
Oh God.
But this kid was relentless.
Now my empathy shifts because I've also been that girl where you're like, oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I'm trying to let you down easy.
Yeah. Horrible.
No sooner would I get out of it than he would weasel his way right back to grabbing my hand. We rode a couple of lifts this way before I suggested we just go back to the car to dodge the parking lot traffic. I knew I was in for a long ride home, but I had no idea how bad it was going to be. We got in the car and started driving down. It was storming. The roads were slick and not well plowed, so our commute was already off to a slow start. Doesn't take much time before he's again fishing for my hand, which I was not giving easy access to. I have both my hands pressed together and sandwiched between my thighs.
That is another thing that I hope you learn with age is like, if a girl wants, or a woman like wants to hold your hand, wants physical contact with you, it will be happening. Yeah, it will be happening. Trust me. We've all done as like, well, I don't know if we have. You guys let me know if this is a shared experience. Have we done the thing when we were younger, like in high school, where you like leave your hand?
Yes.
To
accidentally brush against.
That
leave it next to them. Just like, it's here if you
want to.
If you wanted.
That for sure is a shared experience.
That's the energy you're getting if she wants you to hold her hand.
That's right. Not literally sandwiching them between her legs, so you
the most inaccessible.
I'm literally doing right now. I'm like,
so funny. So yeah, but he grabbed it and insisted on warming up my hands for me. This kid's driving a stick shift on slick roads in poor visibility. While
I want to live.
Both hands, 10 and 2. 10 and 2.
Well, and one on the stick
and one
shift.
on the shit. Yeah.
She says, clearly I was young and naive and definitely didn't have the skill or nerve to tell someone no in an uncomfortable situation. Which we just talked about. It's this was probably my first experience in a situation like this. We make it nearly halfway down the canyon when traffic comes to a dead stop. Not super uncommon as the roads were bad, but 30 minutes go by.
You know what? I'll just get out and walk. I'll walk home. It would be less torturous than sitting in here with you. I'm sorry.
Is it okay if I lay down in the back?
Yeah, all surrounding cars have turned off their engines and people are getting out of vehicles to walk down to see what's going on. I suggest doing the same, hoping he would cool it with some bystanders around. He still tried his best to get a hold of my hand while I tried my best to avoid contact at all. We kept hearing there was an accident up ahead and they were waiting for a tow truck. I pushed for us to keep walking because I did not want to be in a car alone with him. They finally get to the EMS people and they figure out it's going to be another 2 or 3 hours to clear this out.
I will walk home. How far is it?
We were about an hour and a half into our wait when I decided I couldn't hold my bladder any longer. I told him I was going into the trees away to empty the tank, and I let him know I'd be back in a little bit.
And you never returned.
No.
Just disappeared.
So she's having to hike in like knee-high snow to try to find a tree to pee behind. And so she finally finds a suitable spot. I get my clothing adjusted where I can go without pissing on myself. I'm midstream, and guess who comes walking up behind
got
me?
me fucked up. No.
Sir, no.
I need alone time.
No.
Please back up.
Dude, I'm sorry. You do not want to watch a girl squatting and pissing.
No,
like,
in snow.
In snow?
In snow gear as well. Like that. I don't even want to be there.
No.
I don't need an audience.
No, exactly. His excuse was that he wanted to find a spot to pee as well. And it's like, bro, you're a dude.
Man.
You go anywhere. That's
anywhere
exactly
you want.
what she typed.
Yeah.
You can literally go anywhere. So finally, I make it back to the car, zip my coat up as high as it would go until it covered the bottom half of my face and then pulled my hood over my head.
Yeah,
I shoved my hands deep down into my pockets and positioned myself as far away as I could possibly get. That was it for me, and I shut off all communication. We sat in silence for the rest of the time.
Yeah, and it's like, sir, you did this to yourself.
Exactly.
Like, you really did. You just kept pushing it, and you didn't have to. She's just zoom.
I get that. As an introvert, I completely get when you're like,
she's out of social battery completely.
You have drained me completely. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And so she ends it with, that was the last time we ever exchanged words. So yeah.
It's for the best.
Yeah.
I hope that finally got through to him. Like, finally he was like, okay.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not like in his 30s now, like, wonder whatever happened on that date. I just don't get it.
I just don't know.
Such a good
Were we talking about that last week? That TikTok stalker? That guy that's been stalking the girl for like 8 years?
We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but we talked about it outside
that guy
of
did
it.
A 45-minute response video.
Jesus.
Girl, so what we're talking about is Cassie actually sent us a reply to it, a woman who had watched it and was reacting to it. So this woman, she went on one date, one singular date with a man.
7 years ago.
8 years.
Oh,
8 years
yeah.
ago. She went on one date with a man. He became so obsessed with her that he got her eyes tattooed on his body. He wrote songs about her.
He used her eyes on his, like he made a CD or something.
Yeah, because he's a quote unquote musician. So he's written.
And he ended up getting married.
He's
to
married
somebody
and has
else
4
and has kids.
Children. 4 children, and is still stalking and harassing this woman to the point where she's got protective orders against him. She made videos on TikTok about the situation.
I have questions for the wife. I really do.
Well, from what I
have a
saw,
lot of questions.
I did a light dive, not a deep dive. I did a very light skimming dive on this, and I guess she reached out to the wife. Like the woman, like reached out to the wife, and the wife blocked her. Like she doesn't want to know. Like she just doesn't want to know.
Girl.
You know what I mean?
Girl.
Yeah. And so this guy saw one of the videos that she made about her situation. 45 minutes. 45-minute reply. I watched, 5 minutes of it. And I was like, I can't watch this anymore. He's scary. He's pacing around, basically saying like, calling her my love. I never touched you, my love. How can I be harassing you if I haven't even been in your space? Like, meanwhile, he has never stopped contacting her. 8 years, one date.
That's awful. That is
fucking nightmare.
That is a fucking horror movie. It truly is.
So scary. That's what Cassie said when she sent it. She's like, Keegan, this is your worst nightmare.
Your worst
I'm like,
nightmare.
It is.
Fucking is, because it's just you don't ever know. You don't know.
Yeah.
When you go on one date with someone that they might just be like, yeah, this is it for me forever.
Oh my
What?
God.
No, thank you. Oh, okay. Well, my story is, I'll explain that she is dating a colleague turned into a mess. Advice needed. This is my don't shit where you eat story.
Yeah, don't do it.
Dated my female 36 colleague 51 for about 3 weeks. We've worked together since.
Who's 36 and who's 51?
I believe
the colleague is 51.
The colleague is 51. She's 36.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It is written kind of funny. So yes, it's the 36-year-old female is writing. We've worked together since May 2025, went on 5 dates over a 3 to 4 week period. Basically, from date 1, he has been incredibly overwhelming. Trauma dumping about his stint in the military 25 years ago, his childhood, his 2 failed marriages, and also he proclaimed his love for me on date 2.
No. Look, I'm going to hit a huge pause on this. She's my age. He is 51. If he hasn't learned how to regulate, this is the people, this is the guys from the my date and your date, Christina, at 51.
Grown up. Oh,
yes. Right. And where it's just like,
if they
done nothing, they didn't learn anything. Yep.
They didn't learn anything. They don't, because that is the reddest of red flags for you to be, I would say, over 33. If you are over 33 and you are trauma dumping and proclaiming your love for somebody on a first date, no.
Yeah.
Like you should have over 30. Like you should have learned this this is something you should have processed in your teens and your 20s. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a no. He felt like we were like a married couple. He quote knew we would get married in a couple of years, called me babe, honey, etc. Constantly told me he loved me.
How many marriages has he had? 3?
2.
Okay.
Well, this is his 3rd if you count her.
Got it.
This guy just wants somebody around that. There's some guys that just like the free labor that women do around a house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just like being married. Like there are people, I would say, who just want to be married. That's why they go through.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they do it. I truly don't. People who are like, I'm on my 5th marriage. How?
Yeah. My grandma was married like 4 or 5 times. So yeah.
Yeah.
At any rate, had a constant need for validation and affection, constantly wanting to hold hands, be in contact, kiss, etc. Offered to give lavish gifts, paid for my Botox, wanted to pay the down payment on my car, which I declined.
He's a Cancer stellium too. Cancer moon rising.
Oh my God, it's William Shakespeare, you guys.
Oh my God.
For a day or two, I kind of went along with this, a day or two of this love bombing.
That's a lot.
It sounds
but
like
in a day or two.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a lot to happen.
That's like a couple months worth of love bombing crammed into a couple of days.
But it made me increasingly uncomfortable. And I tried to explain to him that I like him as a person / friend, but he puts an insane amount of pressure on me to reciprocate his feelings, which I don't have for him. Eventually, I told him I don't want to pursue dating with him since I don't feel we have the same expectations. He continues trauma dumping his whole life story on me, tries to get in contact with me on different platforms, calls, etc. He blames his military past for his behavior. Again, he left the military 25 years ago. His ex-wives for, quote, not knowing what a healthy relationship is. He keeps telling me...
It's their fault?
Yes. Yeah, it's the military and his ex-wives. He keeps telling me that he has a hard time showing his feelings and has a hard shell. I see a total emotional roller coaster.
I don't think your shell is very hard at all, my dude.
Yeah, bro, you're an
You're
M&M.
a soft shell crab right now. This is not, you are not.
No.
You are a soft shell crab.
Yeah.
Cancer
No.
Because I'm just like, you're laying it all out on the table. This is not a hard nut to crack whatsoever.
No. Everything is constantly about how his feelings and his needs. Since he is my colleague, I feel like can't cut him off, but it's getting exhausting. How to deal with a situation like this? Just ghost him, block him, ignore. I feel like if I do that, it might negatively influence my job since he will unlikely respect my boundaries and use his power against me. He's higher ranking and more experienced
Girl, get that resume dusted off. That's truly,
completely unfair
I hate
that you
to
would
say
be the
it,
one.
but I think that's what I would do. I'd be like, well, on to another, and this is the reason why you don't shit where you eat, because
that's right.
Well, and also
job
if you
hunting
can't trust your company to be able to, like, I do feel like I could trust my supervisor to go to my supervisor and say I have a situation.
Yeah.
And what happens after that, I don't know. Like when it's brought to HR and everything else, I don't know. But like, I do know that I could bring it to him and he would believe me and take the proper steps. If you are worried in your job that they wouldn't protect you or that they wouldn't do the right thing, you probably need a different job anyway.
Yep.
But you don't want to be in that
environment. You and I also work for a kind of a larger corporate situation.
Yeah.
Like maybe Christina is a little bit smaller because she has, she don't only have like, it's a tighter group.
Relationship dynamics are different.
Yeah, for sure. It makes me wonder like how big the company is and yeah, it's
very
tricky.
True.
But again, this is why you don't shit where you eat.
Yeah.
I know it's hard for people though, because it's like
you're there all the time.
Yeah,
you're
it's
both
hard to find
passionate
people
about the same thing because you're working. So yeah, it's very easy to develop feelings
you don't know.
for a coworker, but it's
you don't know until you know.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Oof. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds good.
Cool.
And we're back. Keegan, tell us your Tainted Love.
As promised, I brought kind of a heavy hitter this week. I had wanted to do this one because when we recorded last week, we were kind of coming off Trans Day of Visibility, which is March 31st. So I had known about this story for a while and I wasn't sure if we had done it, but when I searched, I saw that we hadn't, and it was back in the news recently, as I will talk about at the end of this story. But it is a bit of a longer one, so I'm going to do my best to kind of like move through it pretty quickly. A lot of the information I have a lot of sources, but the main one that I got a lot of information from was a Vanity Fair article that was written years and years ago, like not long after this happened. And man, did I sign up for a free trial for Vanity Fair in order to read this article? I sure did. There is something about, it's like Vanity Fair, People Investigates, like
Atlantic Texas Monthly.
Yes. Where the way that they write the stories is so, it's like reading a novel almost,
Didn't Dominique Dunn write for Vanity Fair?
It's Dominic Dunn.
Dominique Dunn was
his
murdered.
daughter. Yeah. Dominic Dunn. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like Joan Didion also did some
Joan
writing
Joan Didion is Dominic, was married to Dominic Dunn's brother. So, Joan
I didn't
Didion
know that. And I read Year of Magical Thinking and I still didn't know that.
Joan Didion was Dominic Dunn's aunt. I read her brother's book.
Or sister-in-law or aunt?
Aunt. It was Dominique Dunn's aunt.
Dominique Dunn's aunt. Dominic Dunn's sister-in-law. Gotcha.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I may have messed up. Yeah,
truly.
I read her brother's book, Dominique Dunn's brother's book.
Oh,
and it's very interesting. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Well, today I'm going to be talking about the murder of Barry Winchell. So, Barry Winchell was born in Kansas City, Missouri on August 31st, 1977. He was 19 or 20 in 1997 when, speaking of the military, we just talked about the military. Speaking of the military, he was in 1997, he enrolled to join the Army and was eventually assigned to the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So growing up, Barry struggled with dyslexia. He was classified as learning disabled. He actually didn't start reading until the third grade. But, I feel like it was interesting reading this Vanity Fair article. A lot of the language that they used because of when it was written is not language that we would use today.
Sure.
Throughout the entire thing, but also just the understanding of learning disability. When his mom would talk about him growing up, he was dyslexic. Again, he didn't read till he was in the third grade. And I think that put him in a category. It made him feel really insecure. But his mom would also talk about how he would put things together and take them apart. And he was really good with Legos. And it's just your brain works differently. And everybody, it's not that you are stupid. It's that your brain just works in a different way that maybe doesn't function as well within the system that we have created,
It's one of the things that, one of many, on an interminably long list of things that I hate about Trump is how he has denigrated Newsom for being dyslexic. My dad was dyslexic and he's one of the smartest people I know. It has nothing to do with your intelligence.
Well,
and it just
absolutely
makes me angry to keep perpetrating that kind of
100%
language.
Completely agree. And also, we are all smart in different ways.
Right.
I was terrible at math growing up, and I would psych myself out and get a lot of anxiety around doing it, which just made me worse at it. But I don't consider myself a stupid person. I don't think I consider myself an intelligent person. There are just things I'm stronger at than other things. It doesn't mean
that's most people.
Yes, almost all people.
That's everyone, because even the people who are smart academically across the board, I'm smart at all academics, are also those same people are.
Maybe they're behaviorally not, or emotionally not intelligent, or, you don't know. So, so we got to do away with this notion that there's a one size fits all mold that people belong into. Yeah. But all of that to say, he thrived in the Army. He was considered an exemplary soldier. He was the best shot in the company with a .50 caliber machine gun and received honors for his marksmanship. When he wasn't in the field, he was constantly studying because he was reading these field manuals to the point where he could point out mistakes in them. Oh, wow. And he had hopes of becoming a warrant officer and learning to fly a Black Hawk helicopter. So these were his aspirations within the Army. In 1998, Barry became roommates with a fellow soldier, then 25-year-old Justin Fisher. The two immediately just oil and water. They didn't get along. Fisher didn't like Barry because he smoked and was sloppy, according to him, was like not as clean a roommate as he wanted him to be. Eventually, their tiffs escalated in Barry flicking a cigarette at Fisher. And
like that.
It's not.
It's such an aggressive...
You shouldn't do it, but at the same time, the response from Justin Fisher was that he picked up a dustpan and hit Barry Winchell across the head with it so hard and so many times that he started to bleed and needed stitches. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's not necessary.
No.
Not a proportional response.
It is not. So after the incident, he refused to let Barry, this happened in their dorm, in their room. He refused to let Barry clean the blood off the wall in the room. He wanted it left as a reminder of what could happen again.
Oh, and why can't he? I feel like if your roommate or your bunkmate, whatever it's called in the Army, like beats you about the head with a dustpan, you can change roommates.
Well,
right?
He did write to a girlfriend.
He be court-martialed for that?
Well, okay. So a couple things. He did write to his girlfriend at the time, at some point after this, that he was being assigned a new roommate and he was excited about it. And that never happened. And then, after that, him and that girlfriend did break up. She sent him like a Dear John letter. Secondly, and this is something that, I come from a military background. Mm-hmm. I come from a military family. My a lot of members in my family were in the military. My dad was in the military. I've lived on military bases. I was in ROTC. I'm very familiar with military culture. There's a lot about military culture that is extremely toxic, and a lot about it, especially living on base, that gets swept under the rug. That they just, it doesn't, violence, alcohol use, sexual assault, like all of these things happen with frequency. Mm-hmm. And it is almost considered just a part of military life, or was for a really long time.
I watched this documentary that was disgusting, difficult to stomach, about women in the military. Yeah. And I have really thought to myself, like, why on fucking earth would you subject yourself
through
to
it? Yeah. My cousin is, I'm not gonna, it's her story and her business, and I'm not gonna talk a lot about it, but she's still in the military, still to this day. But she joined at 18, had not drank, very much when she joined, because of the culture of the military. When she was deployed, drank a lot, was sexually, she faced a lot of sexual discrimination, sexual assault. I don't even know how bad it was. Wow. But I think it's for the same reasons that, not the same reasons, but can be similar reasons to why men join the military. And we're facing a potential draft. We're facing potentially going to boots on the ground war again. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's socioeconomic. I think that there are a lot of reasons that people join the military.
Big time.
People like Barry Winchell, who maybe didn't thrive academically, but this is something they're really good at, and they can advance in and have a career, and are able to go to college. And there are a lot of reasons that look very appealing to people.
Right.
About joining the military. So, After that happened with the dustpan, Barry did his best to get along with Justin Fisher, despite the fact that Fisher would go on to spread information around the base that his roommate was gay. So sometime around March of 1999, Fisher went to two sergeants to report that when he had gone into a gay club in Nashville he's like, I just went to this club to get a fellow soldier to give him a lift back to base, that he had seen a soldier at the bar performing oral sex on another man.
No, you didn't.
He didn't say who, but reports from other soldiers the sighting was a complete fabrication, that it didn't happen, but it didn't matter. People began to speculate that the man Fisher had reported was Barry Winchell. In 1999, the military was still under the don't ask, don't tell policy that had been instated by then President Bill Clinton as a quote unquote compromise to allow LGBTQ people to serve in the military. So Bill Clinton had run on this platform that he's like, I believe that you should be able to be out in the military and still serve. When he became president, he backtracked on that. And his compromise was basically the don't ask, don't tell policy. So under this policy, the official position remained the same, being that members of the community, the LGBTQ community, were unfit to serve, but you don't ask and you don't tell. Right. So gay people who served in the military were not allowed to tell anyone about their sexual orientation, nor were superiors allowed to ask about it if there was no credible evidence that the person was in fact gay. But the U.S. military still prohibited homosexual behavior of any kind, even if done in private. The U.S. at the time claimed that homosexuality in the military can irrevocably damage the morale and cohesion of fighting units, despite there being no basis for this claim. When Fisher was eventually asked by his superiors if he was referring to his roommate, Barry Winchell, when making his claims, he just smirked. When Barry was asked if he was a homosexual, he said that he was not. And so, with no concrete evidence and with no other members of the unit wishing to file an official complaint, despite the rumors, superiors were unable to investigate and thus were forced to drop the case. But I will say, there were a couple of superiors who really kind of like stood in Barry's corner, were like, he is a good officer. Yeah. But there were others who fed into this, would, you know, along with the younger members of the unit, would refer to Barry as the F slur, all kinds of things like that. All quote unquote joking, of course. Barry had in fact visited a gay club in Nashville called the Nashville Connection. What Fisher had neglected to mention when reporting Barry to his superiors is that he had been with him during this trip. They went together. And he also failed to mention that he himself had been accused of making out with a trans person on the street in Nashville, and that he had been known to enjoy dressing in women's lingerie, Justin Fisher. So during the trip to the Nashville Connection, Barry saw a 28-year-old showgirl perform whose name was Calpurnia Adams. Calpurnia was a beautiful and confident trans woman. So the two met after the show and hit it off, and they soon began dating, and according to Calpurnia, quickly fell in love. She would later go on to describe him as sweet and gentle. Barry only saw Calpurnia off-duty and off-base, and his relationship never interfered with his military duties. But still, the ridicule of Barry Winchell was growing more and more on the base, especially after word got around about Calpurnia, and especially from Justin Fisher. Barry would do his best to appease his roommate. He, after the incident with the dustpan, even lending him his car so that he and a fellow soldier could make a trip to Niagara Falls, he repaid his kindness by wrecking the vehicle.
Oh my God.
Yep. It was also... Yeah, it was also well known that, like many other men on base, Fisher was known to drink to excess and was often drunk. And when drunk, he became increasingly violent, especially towards Winchell. So one time, while on a car ride home from Nashville with two other soldiers and one of the soldiers' wives, so they're in Barry Winchell's car, but Barry Winchell is sitting as a passenger. Another soldier is driving. A soldier and his wife are in the back seat with Justin Fisher. Barry Winchell starts smoking in his own car.
In his own car.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Fisher, who was drunk, became enraged and lunged from the back seat and attempted to strangle Barry. And
what kind of trigger does this kid have? I think it's smoking.
Look, there's definitely the smoking thing. I also think it is
self-hating.
From what we know, I think it's a lot. And I hate to say that because it's not confirmed. And I also, want to acknowledge that he is just a homophobic piece of shit. But also with some of the evidence that we have about his proclivities, I think he felt some kind of bitterness towards Barry Winchell because of his own self-hating stuff that he had going on. That's just speculation on my part. It has not been, verified, but.
And nor does it excuse.
At all. No,
right.
not at
behavior.
All.
But I'm not like, what is it about this smoking that like just brings
I think
him
he just doesn't like it, and it gives him like a an excuse. Yeah, to go off. So it was so bad that they tried to get Fisher to calm down, but they had to pull over 4 or 5 times, and it only fully stopped and allowed them to get back to base when Fisher passed out from being too drunk. On other occasions during drunken fits, Fisher would threaten to, quote, beat you like I did before and make you my bitch. And once even joked to a fellow soldier that when he gets stressed out, he just goes upstairs and beats his roommate. And of course, the fellow soldiers are just like, we just thought it was a joke. He also started referring to Barry as the F slur, and other soldiers around the base, including, like I said, some of the higher ups, began referring to Barry using a variety of homophobic slurs that I'm not going to repeat here. They're in the Vanity Fair article. Later, the other soldiers who participated in the verbal abuse would say that they thought Fisher understood that the whole thing was just a joke.
Yeah, just jokes, guys, just jokes.
A fellow soldier said that Barry became depressed around this time. You don't say. And
why?
Due to the don't tell part of the policy, he couldn't have shared what he was going through even if he wanted to. Effectively, at this point, Barry was a pariah in his unit despite being a great officer, or a great soldier, rather. In July of 1999, Fisher and Winchell were outside the barracks with 18-year-old Calvin Glover and another soldier. Glover had been known to be abrasive and was even suspected of being a white supremacist. There's tell that he had a tattoo that looked like a Nazi cross, but it was like shitty.
Oh, like the same one that Pete Hegseth has?
Oh, let me sip my wine. And that he had gone up to another soldier who he thought was wasn't, but he thought what he had on was like a Nazi dog whistle. And he went up there and he said, oh, it's so good to meet someone else who also hates N-words and Jews. So fun. All of the men were drinking, and Glover was going on and on about how before he joined the army, he used to do drugs and rob banks. This like 18-year-old, shithead.
No, you didn't.
Barry allegedly got tired of this. He was drugs. Like, okay, fucking enough. Yeah, probably. And he was just like, you know what? Fucking enough. Like, those people, they get drunk and they just go on and on and on, and they're so fucking obnoxious. So Barry told Glover that it was time to take his drunk cherry ass to bed. And then Glover got in Barry's face. He told Glover, Barry told Glover that he didn't want to fight. But when Glover wouldn't stop and knocked Barry's beer bottle out of his hands, Barry hit Glover 2 or 3 times with an open palm in the face, and then grabbed him by the waist and threw him down and held him there until he calmed down. So when he let Glover up, Barry tried to smooth things over, but Glover just kept repeating, "This isn't over. I'll kill you." Great. So once Barry left, Glover reportedly said that he wouldn't let an F slur kick his ass.
Sounds like that's exactly what happened. Except for
yeah.
Not. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, just this toxic
it's so
masculinity, machismo stuff is so disgusting to me.
It's so disgusting.
It's so fucking gross and off-putting. Oh my God.
And again, in the military, I think especially at this time, I can't speak to what it's like now, blind eyes. Like you just, you let your soldiers kind of get away with whatever they're doing, fighting, drinking, whatever it is. You just don't pay attention to it. So Justin Fisher fed the flames. The next day, on July 4th, when he saw Glover, he jokingly asked how it felt to have his ass kicked by an F slur, and said that he would tell everyone about it at work the next week. Fisher kept going along this vein throughout the day, and as Glover drank more and more during the July 4th celebrations, They drained a keg, and then after that, Fisher bought 2 40s of Old English, which they took back to Glover's room to finish off while listening to, this was a detail from the Vanity Fair article, listening to the soundtrack from Gus Van Sant's 1998 remake of Psycho.
Oh my, okay.
By this time, Glover has had close to the equivalent of 17 beers. And Fisher continues to egg him on, telling Glover that everyone's going to think you're a pussy for losing the fight. Fisher then said that Barry Winchell had been talking shit about Glover behind his back. Fisher and Glover eventually went for a walk and saw Barry sleeping outside the room that he shared with Fisher. So he was sleeping there instead of in the room because he wanted to take care. Oh, this is such a detail that pulls at my heartstrings. He was sleeping outside on a cot because he wanted to take care of the company mascot, an Australian blue heeler named Nasty, that Fisher would not let inside the room. So Justin Fisher wouldn't let the dog in the room. So Barry Winchell was sleeping outside with the dog to take care of it, keep it company, basically. And both men thought it would be fun to mess with Winchell, so they began pinching him and slapping him and then running back to Fisher's room. Eventually, Barry got up to tell them to knock it off. He got up, he's like, knock it off, and then he goes back to sleep on the cot. This confrontation enrages Calvin Glover, who picks up a baseball bat and he starts pacing angrily for 10 minutes, saying that he, quote, ought to go out there and fuck him up. To which Fisher replies, go for it. So I'm sorry that I didn't give this content warning at the top. I really should have. My deepest apologies for not having done it. But obviously a content warning should have been given for homophobia, homophobic violence. You know, it's about to get bad. So Calvin Glover leaves the room around 2 a.m. and beats Barry Winchell so viciously as he sleeps that blood sprays the opposite wall 15 feet away and the ceiling 8 feet overhead. He is hit in the temple, forehead, and jaw, fracturing his skull. Miraculously, at this point, Winchell is still breathing. So Glover returns to the room with the bloody bat and tells Fisher, I did it. Fisher takes the bat, cleans the blood off in the kitchen sink before telling Glover this stays in the family. 10 minutes go by before Glover suggests that they go out for a smoke. When they pass Barry on the bloody cot, still breathing.
Wait, why is Glover allowed to smoke? Justin hates it so much. Yeah, exactly.
It's not about that. And I think it was about smoking. His excuse was that it was about smoking inside, smoking in the room, smoking in the car, you know, but it wasn't ever really about that, you know. So when they pass Barry on the bloody cot, still breathing, though blood is coming out of his nose, mouth, and ears, Glover reportedly looks down at Barry. So awful. I'm so sorry. Looks down at Barry and says, look who got their ass kicked now, F-slur. You won't be kicking anybody's ass now. And then punches Barry in the face. And Barry gurgles and then lies still. So figuring at this point that he's dead, Fisher tells Glover to leave. And then he begins yelling as if he just found Barry's bloody body. So other officers or other soldiers arrive and one tries calling 911. He tries 4 or 5 times, but the call won't go through. Unbeknownst to them, 911 does not work from inside the barracks. So eventually they get to a payphone outside. It takes paramedics 30 minutes to arrive. So when they do, Barry is still alive and throwing up blood, but at this point, he's been bleeding out for close to an hour. Several hours later that morning, Barry's mother, Pat, receives a phone call from the lieutenant colonel who tells her that her son is in a coma in the hospital and that he has been, quote, kicked in the head with a boot. Later that day, soldiers would be instructed to clean the area where the assault happened, despite it being a crime scene. So they're closing ranks. When Pat gets to the hospital, she is told that her son has irreparable brain damage and is only breathing with the aid of a respirator. So the next morning, Pat gives doctors at Vanderbilt permission to turn off the respirators so her son can die in peace. That same day of July 6th, Glover is in custody after bloodstained clothing was found in his room. He's held at Fort Campbell, and he strikes up a conversation with another soldier who is also there. They compare tattoos and what they're in for. And Glover says, "I did kill that guy." And he says, "One thing I can't stand is F words and N words." So Fisher is still maintaining that he tried to save his roommate to such an extent. He puts on such a good show that Barry Winchell's parents, Pat and Wally, they personally thank him for what he did to try and save their son. So Fisher tells that someone would have to be sick to do something like that. And but people are starting to put it together that like what he is saying doesn't add up. At first he says he slept through the whole thing. Then he says he woke up because of the dog. On July 8th, Fisher admits that he taunted Glover and egged him on, telling him to go for it when he said that he would fuck him up that night. He also admits to washing the bloody bat. Fisher is not ordered into pretrial confinement because all of this also because it happened on base and it's military, it is up to the military's discretion how this is handled. So he is not held in confinement until 10 days after he admits to those things on July 18th. He's then charged with murder, being an accessory after the fact, false swearing, obstruction of justice, and giving alcohol to a minor. And he is reunited with Calvin Glover, this time at a federal military prison in Fort Knox, pending court-martial proceedings. So Glover, who's on trial for first-degree murder, pled guilty to unpremeditated murder. So he says, "I did kill him, but it wasn't premeditated." And his lawyers argue that it was Fisher who pushed Glover into killing, and pointing to Glover's drunkenness and young age. But on December 9, Calvin Glover is found guilty of the premeditated murder of Barry Winchell and sentenced to life imprisonment. Justin Fisher, in return for agreeing to testify against Glover if necessary, pleads guilty to the charges of false swearing, obstruction of justice, and giving alcohol to a minor. The charges for murder and accessory were dropped. He was sentenced to 12 years. In the aftermath of Winchell's death, the country was forced to reckon with the don't ask, don't tell policy, with President Clinton coming out to say that the policy was, quote, out of whack. And the issue became a campaign issue for then Democratic presidential nominee Al Gore, who called Winchell's parents to express condolences. And he said that he would require any appointee to the Joint Chiefs of Staff to agree to let gays serve openly. But then, of course, he backtracked on this. However, Barry Winchell's murder is widely cited as part of as a large reason why a formal review of the don't ask, don't tell policy was undergone, though it wasn't officially removed as policy until 2011. In February of that year, Major General Robert T. Clark, who was a commanding officer at Fort Campbell, told the New York Times that much had been done to redress the problems that may have contributed to Winchell's death, including drinking in the barracks, and a program was underway to modernize the living conditions in the barracks, including it was now possible to call 911.
Wow.
Which, why wasn't it always?
Yeah.
Seems fucking weird. He also pointed out that training programs were in place to instruct officers and soldiers about the don't ask, don't tell policy and how it should be implemented, and stressed to the New York Times that this is not a homophobic base. That same week, however, you could walk... it's horrible. That same week that he made that statement, you could walk into a bathroom stall at Fort Campbell and find a drawing of a baseball bat with the words F-word whacker on it. You could walk inside a stall at the recreation center and find a different phrase, all F-words in the Army will be killed. Glover and Fisher served time together at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Fisher was paroled after 7 years. Glover was eligible for parole in 1999 and officially paroled in 2020. Calpurnia was devastated by the news of her boyfriend's murder. The night he was murdered, she had won Miss Tennessee Entertainer of the Year pageant. So it was 4th of July. She's winning this pageant. And at the same time, her boyfriend is being beaten to death. She went on to become an outspoken activist for transgender rights and issues, as well as an actress and musician who has appeared on stage alongside Salma Hayek, Glenn Close, and Jane Fonda. In 2003, a film about the murder of Barry Winchell and his relationship with Calpurnia called Soldier's Girl debuted. Lee Pace played Calpurnia Adams. Members of the LGBTQ community, specifically trans activists, have criticized the way Calpurnia and her relationship with Barry was portrayed during the trial and in the media at the time, arguing that in order to have much of the discourse, especially around Don't Ask, Don't Tell, they had to, quote, turn Calpurnia into a man. They had to make it a gay relationship. So prior to his relationship with Calpurnia, Barry was only known to have had relationships with cisgender women. And so it's important to note that despite his murder obviously being a homophobic hate crime, he was not in relationship with a man. He was in relationship with a woman, a trans woman. In March of 2026, this case and Calpurnia Adams were back in the news when an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race discussed the case. In the episode, the contestants were tasked with, quote, dragifying some men. One of them told a story about a man he had served in the army with and was friends with named Barry Winchell. During the story, pictures of Barry and Calpurnia were shown. She would later say on a podcast that she was taken aback and, you know, she was sitting with, she says it, she's like, it was so odd to be like sitting with a group of friends kikiing and like enjoying the queen's antics and then to have something, this awful reminder of her past pop up on the screen, you know.
Wow.
She said, quote, "It still breaks my heart because he was a sweet young man. And that night, Justin Fisher and Calvin Glover conspired to murder Barry because they had whipped up a frenzy against him because he was, quote, dating a transsexual. And so that night they beat him to death. And for many years after, there were trials. The boys were put in prison who killed him, and now they're both out. They're free men, which is very frightening to me when I think about it." She went on to say, "I'm glad that people still honor his memory, and I think there's still value to be had in letting everyone know that that kind of bigotry and hatred existed in the military. You know, I'm a veteran myself, a combat medic, and so it is a story that I'm grateful to be told." So that is the story of the murder of Barry Winchell.
That's tough.
No, it's really heavy.
Yeah. That's a lot to process. It's why I guess, you know, I studied sociology in the brief stint that I had in college and am fascinated by, you know, why we even have Trump as a president and why I just will never understand humans' capacity for like that kind of hatred and bigotry towards anybody, be it in terms of their race, sex, gender, sexual orientation, like any of that is so nonsensical to me. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
It's an unhealed wound that they have in themselves. At the end of the day, it's really nothing to do with those people or those groups. It isn't. Like you can talk yourself into circles.
As a society, there's still like, look at what fucking ICE is doing right now. And there are people cheering outside of Alligator Alcatraz.
Right, because it makes you feel, like there's so much to be said about the vast number of Southerners who supported slavery or supported the inequality of African Americans in this country were not slaveholders. We're not
Honestly.
people who were wealthy enough to have had enslaved people themselves. But what it did do was it made them feel a little bit powerful in a world where they felt powerless, where they could say, well, at least we are better than these people, right? Or at least we're above these people. It gives them a platform to be on. It doesn't make rational sense to people who are like empathetic human beings.
Yeah. We should have killed all of them in the Confederacy. Honestly, our biggest mistake was trying to lead with empathy and find like move beyond it and try to compromise. But
well, there certainly
I'm more and more convinced that we should have fucking
Yes.
executed them as traitors. Honestly.
I think definitely at least the people at the top. I think that was a big mistake that we made, is that there weren't enough consequences for treason that happened at that time. We were in a civil war. Like, you actively fought a war against your government.
Yeah.
And there's a word for that, and it is treason, and it was not handled that way. Yeah.
I'm definitely looking at this time period the same way. There has to be consequences for people that continue.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of the problem, is there haven't been any consequences. There haven't been consequences. And even looking at this case, the Barry Winchell case, neither of those men served their full sentences.
No,
like, they're
didn't.
both out.
They're both out. And it's so frustrating to a lot of us who have tried to lead and be like good people and just leave quiet, simple lives. And then these people that continue to spread hate, violence, they steal from us, they whip up these disgusting frenzies, like, get away with it scot-free.
It is hard to see, because I think early on in the Trump administration, there was a lot of hope in the first term. I think there was a lot of hope that it's like, okay, well, this is really bad, but everybody is gonna, like, it'll all shake out in the end. You know what I mean? And I think every time something big has come up, there haven't been consequences.
No.
There was a coup attempt on January 6th, no consequences. You know what I mean?
All pardoned.
And so it's just, it does become hard. It becomes hard to have hope. It becomes hard to feel like anything we do makes a difference. We just keep trying to come at it. As individuals, we keep trying to come at it from different angles. Well, okay, this didn't work, but like maybe this or maybe that. Like, voting doesn't seem to be doing it, but getting out into the streets doesn't seem to be doing it. Like, what can we do? You know, you keep trying to hit it from different angles, hoping that there will be consequences at some point. And to time and time again see that there are no lasting consequences. It's like, it does, as someone who does try to remain optimistic, it becomes disheartening. It really does.
I'm really tired of having to try to do society with people whose thinking is so ignorant. Like, the amount of ignorance in our culture today is fucking exhausting. It's
forever, you know, it clearly, like, it is really bad right now. And I think that was by design.
It's 2026, you
but
guys.
it was by design. You know, our education system hasn't improved. If anything, I think it's gotten worse. You know, and again, I think that was intentional. I think a lot of this is intentional, and we're seeing the results of it at this time. But I mean, that hatred's like, it is hard when you wrap your head around the fact that, like, this level, like in this Barry Winchell case, and when you're talking about slavery, when you're talking about what's happening with the ICE raids, like everything that's happening and has happened, it never ends.
Yeah.
It never ends.
It's
like,
hard,
it gets
and
hard.
I get angry at people stealing my empathy away from me.
I do too.
Even in the first term, I had some empathy and understanding for MAGA voters. You know, because I was just like, man, they've been taken advantage of. They want to burn the system down. Like, I understand that. I understand that nobody's been delivering for the flyover parts of this country for a long time. And they're fucking angry. And
still aren't, to be honest. Like, neither side is delivering.
This isn't doing it.
Yeah.
No.
But,
you know, but I agree with you. I really work on myself. I try to be really introspective because I feel better as a human being. I feel like I'm a more productive member of society when I lead with kindness and like empathy and compassion with people. It's how I feel my best. It's the person that I want to be, that I want to project into the world. And it gets really, really...
I can't do that with a MAGA person these days. I really can't.
Hard.
I have zero fucking empathy for them.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's a really ugly truth in myself that I want to see them fail and I want to see them hurt. And I hate that. I hate that is the biggest thing I hate about
that they've done that too. Yeah. Like I hate that feeling too when I find myself thinking.
That's a nasty bit of myself now that I have to reckon with.
It sucks. And it does feel like one more thing that you're like, you robbed me of this beautiful piece of myself that I want to hang on to. And it doesn't feel fair. And I'm with you completely in that because I struggle with it constantly where I'm just like, no, this is part of my worldview. It's part of my, the way that I want to live my life is to not be this way. But I can't help but have these feelings. And like, and it fucking it does make me mad. It makes me mad that like
you cannot have somebody that looks at like the Alex Preddy murder and cheers it on and calls that beautiful soul a domestic terrorist. Like, I think you don't get to be playing society anymore with actual civilized humans. I think you're a fucking Neanderthal. And there's no place in modern society for you. And I'll stand by that. I hate that. I have been robbed of that empathy, but people like that and people that you're talking about in that story that hold those kind of hateful views, like to
for
me,
no
I'm
reason.
like for no reason.
Barry Winchell
there's no
didn't do
place
anything
for you in modern society.
Yeah,
like you're disgusting pieces of trash.
Yeah. All right.
So
well,
anyways.
Is anyone watching anything like anything uplifting? Because mine isn't necessarily uplifting, but
Jury Duty, Company Retreat. The main guy, Anthony, is such a sweet baby angel. Imagine that you get a job and like within your first week, you have to like participate in a company retreat with your new coworkers, and like
I've seen the commercial.
Oh my God.
I saw one clip and I was like, this is amazing.
It's so amazing. The Jury Duty one I thought was like, okay, it was like funny or whatever. This one just hits hard as like anybody who's ever worked like at any kind of job, and the people in it are so good. And it's so like, it's just heartwarming. Like he's trying so fucking hard.
Sweetie pie. Sweetie pie. You know, they're lucky they got someone like that instead of someone who's like, you know what? Like double for this guy. Yeah. Like how this is dumb as shit. Like it makes for much better TV.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. If you need something kind of heartwarming. And then I had planned on starting Love on the Spectrum.
Love on the Spectrum is I haven't watched all of it, but what I have watched, it is heartwarming. It's sweet. Yeah. Well, I watched a documentary of a story that Christina, I believe, had told. The Truth and Tragedy of Mariah Wilson. Mm-hmm. Did you watch it? Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. It's actually like, it is heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. I don't know what episode that was that Christina told that story, but that's the first time I'd heard that story was when you told it. And I think it was, but it's heartbreaking to watch this documentary, but it's also really beautiful because the people, her family and her friends are such a testament to who she was as a person. They are so... I mean, obviously they're heartbroken. They wanted to see justice done, like all of that stuff, but they're such big-hearted people. You can tell. And she was in all the videos and stuff that you see of her and the way that people talk about her, it's so clear that she was this like shining light of a person. And so I thought the documentary was really, really well done from the perspective of trying to give the victim a voice. Yeah. I thought it was really beautiful. So, I did tear up a little bit watching it. So if that's something that you're interested in, true crime documentary with a heart, that's a good one.
I'm still reading David Copperfield. So
of course you are.
I'm nothing. Yeah, I mean, like it's a
hefty book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of tearing up, did you guys see the clip from Artemis 2 of
wanted to. Oh, I forgot.
Carol?
This is something that I wanted to talk about at the top and forgot about. This is remember before we started recording, I was like, I knew there was something I wanted to talk about, but didn't make a note of. It's this.
girl?
Oh, my heart. We need to end on this positive note. We do.
Yeah. The fact he starts choking up when he's like spelling out her name, and he goes, I can't, I tear up just even talking about it. He goes, it's the same latitude as home.
Oh my God. Oh,
And-
my heart.
And like thinking about her children being able to look up and see like the bright
So what we're
spot for
talking
his
about-
late wife. Oh
yeah, is there is an astronaut on Artemis 2 who they had found like it's like an mountain
bright
range or,
spot or crater.
yeah, something,
Crater.
yeah,
It
like
was a
on
crater.
the dark side of the moon that had never been seen before, and he named it after his late wife who had died not that long before. Her name was Carol. And I love this crew so fucking much
so
because it's
great.
so
It was
clear.
the crew that suggested it.
And
like
they were all so supportive.
Oh my God. It was so great.
They were all
Yeah.
there for him. It was so fucking sweet. And just like, it's
I
nice
saw
to know that
another
exists.
TikTok too where there were a whole bunch of little kids in their little astronaut outfits watching Artemis 2 take off. And the fact that there are women as such a huge part of that crew. The last time that we went to the moon, like women couldn't have credit cards. So seeing
crazy.
these little
It's so
girls in their
beautiful.
little astronaut outfits being excited to see a rocket launch into space, I was like,
With a woman
That-
on it. Named
Yes.
after Artemis.
yes.
And
The
to give
protector of women.
just to give one little petty bit of shade before we end this episode, I also loved that none of them acknowledged Trump at all.
Not at all. It was the
When
best.
he called
the best.
the awkward silence, I was like,
Oh,
I love
no.
these people.
Full
I love them
minute.
so much.
Oh my God. I loved that
Oh my
so
God.
much.
Incredible.
But part of it made me want to peel my skin off.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, the uncomfortableness of it. Yeah, I hate an awkward moment, but knowing that they did it was so like when he was like, "Are you still there?"
Oh,
But
God.
anyway,
good.
I want to leave it on like a really lovely
Yes.
positive note. That whole thing with Artemis, fucking beautiful,
And they're
Yeah.
back
Really
and
beautiful.
they're all safe. Yeah.
I actually, Artemis, I believe, put her lover in the sky as well in the Greek myth. So
mythology.
also aptly named. Well, if you have a date story that you want to share with us, if you want to reach out and say hello, if you also want to scream into the void like we do these days, please visit our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.